Welcome to this week's episode of Movie Reviews with My Dad. Today we're reviewing Contra Extraction. And it's a film. It's directed by Sam Hargrave, it's written by the Russos, and it stars Chris Hemsworth and no one else. So let's discuss. Father, what did you feel about the film?
Yeah, there's really not anybody else in this movie, but if you got Chris Hemsworth and that guy from Stranger Things guy,
He's in there for a scene.
Hopper. I mean, he's not in there. He's in there for a bit. I mean, throw him in there. But other than that, yeah, there's a bunch of no names. But why do you need all these names? You got Chris Hemsworth. That's all you need. Superstar action figure. That's what I look for in a film.
That is the opposite of what I look for in a film. I feel as though this movie, Chris Hemsworth is the only reason why anybody would see it. Without Chris Hemsworth, without the star power, this movie would be lost in oblivion. Nobody would ever watch it.
I feel like that's the same for most movies. You got a star, and you only really need one star to push a film.
It's interesting, but I have to disagree. I think there's a lot of work on a movie, and one actor does not make a movie good.
I disagree. I mean, if the other actors are just sufficient in their roles, the main actor can pull off a film no problem. One film, one actor, that's all it takes.
But there's a lot that goes into a filmmaking or films in general. One actor does not make it better. In fact, I think Chris Hemsworth was not that good in the film. He was fine, but was he that good? Okay, well, let's talk about more aspects of the filmmaking. Dad, how did you feel about the score of the film?
The score?
Yes.
What's that, the music?
Yes, the soundtrack.
Well, can't say that I really noticed it.
Interesting. Neither did I. I think the score.
Was there music in this movie?
I think so. Was there?
It's a good question. I mean, that is a part of film. For me, this movie was a cross between Rambo and Taken.
Those are some old movies.
Old movies with practical fight scenes and practical effects, not a lot of CGI, which I really liked. And okay, there might have been a little bit of an element of Terminator in here because of the fact that, I mean, in one scene in Extraction, we had a guy fall off a roof from 2 stories, get hit by a truck, and all he did was break his nose. It was a nasty nose break.
It was a very nasty nose break.
He had to snap that sucker right back. I mean, but otherwise, he was pretty much good to go. And then the main actor, Chris, he had the same fall off the roof, but he only got hit by a car. So yeah, a little car. I can see how that wouldn't really hurt you. A little car?
Just a car. Just a small car crash.
It wasn't a truck, but it did seem like it hurt his shoulder a bit. He had to wear a sling. I wonder if the director of this movie hates kids. Seems like it.
Let's discuss that. I think he does hate kids. Chris Hemsworth's son? Dead. His wife is probably fine, but his son?
We don't really know. I guess his wife left because it's his fault that the kid died of cancer?
Honestly,
Lymphoma?
I don't even remember what it was. It
I
doesn't
think
even
it's
matter. It doesn't even matter.
That's cancer?
He might as well have been shot in the face because it doesn't matter at all.
But yeah, I mean, she left because it's his fault that he was at the war, fighting for his country and whatnot. And and the kid died. Okay, that's one dead kid.
Sure.
So then you got the kid that gets kidnapped.
Yes.
And, I love that scene. That was actually a little bit surprising when the kid gets kidnapped and his buddy gets shot in the head right out on the street.
That was a fair bit surprising.
I was a little bit surprised about that. I'm like, oh, there's another kid dead, 2 kids dead. Mm-hmm. And then there's the 6 kids that he beats up in the alley.
Lots of dead kids.
What was the other scene? On the roof?
Yeah, the roof where the main guy, the bad guy, he's throwing kids off the roof because he's so evil.
Right. He throws one kid off and then he's going to make the other kid cut off his fingers. But whoa. Then they didn't have time. Something came up.
You're lucky kid,
You don't have time to cut your fingers off. It's your lucky day. But then the kid cuts off his finger anyways, later on. This director hates kids.
I think that's what we've discovered.
Was there any more scenes where he hates kids? And then they end up in a sewer, and this is when they really hit rock bottom.
Yeah.
I mean, you really must feel for the characters at this point, right?
You'd think.
You don't?
No, not at all.
They're in a sewer. A stinkiest sewer the guy's ever smelled.
And you feel absolutely nothing because these characters suck. Like the one kid, what do I even remember about him? He played piano. That was his whole character. He's just this nice boy who plays piano, and Chris Hemsworth wants him as a son or something. I don't know what's going on there. His son was like 6 years old when he died, but then as Chris Hemsworth sees his son and this 14-year-old boy, it really doesn't make any sense why he would have any like relatability towards this child whatsoever.
I think maybe they're just creating a bond. You know, they've gone through a lot of stuff.
I think they're creating a plot device. Okay, Dad, what would you give Extraction?
I really enjoyed the film. It was 2 hours of entertainment for me, and I judge movies based on whether I could rewatch them again or if I'd want to see the sequel. And for me, it's a definite yes. I give the movie a 7.5.
0.5? Huh?
7.5 out of 10. I enjoyed it. I thought it was good. I would watch it again. I might watch it again right now.
I would never do that. I'm the exact opposite. Would never watch this one again. This is a one and done deal. Would I recommend it? Watching it once? Maybe. If you like action, there's some good action in here. Terrible story, I just skip the story right off and just go to the cool action scenes. I'd give it a 4.5 out of 10. I do not recommend, but you know, quarantine, if you have nothing else to do, why not?
4.5 out of 10. You're saying this movie is less than half?
Yes. Well, anyways, that's the show. We'll see you all next week for the next episode.
Sounds good. I look forward to it. I watch movies, and I enjoy them.
I guess I don't.